Hello, everyone. Welcome to RigER webinars. And today we're going to talk about the HR module in RigER. This is the most recent development of our system. So we'll talk about this a little bit later today. And we'll talk about qualification skills, tracking hours, and payroll rates for the employees and salesperson and pretty much everyone who works in the company. So today's agenda, 3 people will be presenting today the following agenda. And Michael Maltsev, our CEO, myself, and Arsen, our software consultant. So we are going to talk about the RigER 6.5 Houston HR module general overview. Then we will talk about the users and employees in the system, how you can track different roles in the system. We'll talk about a little bit field technician dispatch, so how you can dispatch your workforce. Time tracking will be touched as well, and we'll talk more on payroll settings and payroll rates for employees, qualifications and skills. We will also show you how you can track and how you can analyze the sales commission and actually the system, how it calculates the sales commission for your sales department. And we will talk about the setup and implementation of this module into your system.
So quick introduction, because I know there's a few of you who are new to RigER, and we appreciate you participating and appreciate the patience of those of you who are current users of RigER. So we'll just run a quick intro of what RigER is and where it comes from. So basically, RigER is a flagship product of the Belkasoft Corporation. We originated in Calgary, Alberta. We started in 2012 with the mission of promoting and advancing the paperless enterprise into the oilfield services and rentals business. We're all about the customized solution for our customers because we appreciate the differences in all the businesses. And we are also focused on the integrations. That's the biggest focus of our platform. We're not building all-in-one solution. We're building the solution for the diverse world of multiple application and multiple systems working together. So the product family of RigER is growing significantly, and we are pleased to introduce to you more solutions, specialized solutions, as well as updates to the major platform. From the cloud that supports the major database that your operational system would be hosted in, to the mobile applications that we've now, out of 1, we've developed 3 more and now have 4 applications for different functions, and to the specialized solutions for the equipment distribution, to the downhole tools, to the waste management, flowback, telecom, rig move, and other industry applications that we've developed solutions for as part of working with our customers. Whom is a nice segue you can see right here on this slide. So some of whom rather, and the types of equipment that the companies are managing using RigER. So they vary from the complexity and the location in the cycle of the oilfield service and rentals. So anything and everything can be set up to be managed effectively in RigER, regardless of the complexity of the process. RigER is a very highly customizable system.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to RigER webinars. Thank you for joining us today. And today we will talk about HR module, our latest addition to the RigER system. So human resources management includes lots of different tasks, and we try to cover more major of them and understand how the service and rental companies in all the fields track their operations and manage probably the main resource, human resources, and the application is working with like hiring employees, training and certificate, the dispatch of workforce, track time, hours, days, control overtimes, or any other bonuses or paid for a particular job, calculate payroll, fire employees, that happens sometimes, analyze labor cost, and one thing which we not covered yet, but we already know how to do that, the regular performance evaluation for the employee. And this kind of different functions presented here, and we only will miss safety today because it's a separate module in RigER, and we will cover the next couple of webinars, maybe in July. But the rest we will talk about today. So the employee list, time tracking, rates, skills and qualifications, dispatching, and labor cost analysis. So the HR module looks like a separate menu in RigER with HR symbol, and we have different documents like a payroll rates, employees hiring, firing, sales commission rate, the employee skills, and those are documents, and several new catalogs, so qualifications and employees, and several reports. So far, this module is very, very sweet and small. However, we know how we will develop that in the future.
Okay, let's go ahead, and we still are in our webinar topic. And let me just quickly explain what's the difference between users and employees in the company, because for those users, for those attendees of the webinar who is using RigER for now, they know that we just recently had just the users catalog, but with the HR model, we have added the employees catalog as well. So the main purpose of the users list or users catalog is to allow people to access the database. So users are those who are working with the system directly. So they can access documents, they can access different reports, different features of the system based on their individual permissions and settings. Because every user in the RigER can have their own settings, and based on that settings, the visibility of the system will be changed and general functionality. On the other hand, employees are those who are just basically working in the company, and not all the employees can have the access to RigER. So when you set up the list of employees, you can select who can have the access to the system by assigning them a user rights. So usually employees list are much bigger than the users list, but still all the users are employees, not all the employees are users. So you can manage these by looking at the employees list and assigning or just disabling the access to the system.
Yeah, and the reason why we split those two, like users and employees, because we realize that in some cases it could be some users not be an employee. So say, for example, if you hired a contractor and contractor not become the employee, but we need to give them a permission in the database. Or some employees could not be a user. Say, for example, crew members do not need to have an access to RigER because the crew lead will do all the job in RigER. So that kind of situation, just push us to build a new, like in some cases, kind of parallel tracking. However, those catalogs are connected. So, and we can convert from user to employee and from employee to user by one click. It's not a big deal. So let's talk about the dispatching field technicians. This is not a new functional. However, I'd like to stress that and show that one more time, because I saw that, it was updated in version, and it was added as a part of version 6.0 Midland. However, it was not quite used for all our clients, so I'd like to show that again. So in the home page, the dispatch dashboard, we have the dispatch FT view, and here you can see on the left side titles, so the different job titles for employees. It could be a field technician, consultant, supervisors, you name it. And GPR, MID, ISN, it's just acronyms for the departments, different departments. And on the right side, you can see the current week. So 2 days prior and 4 days after. So the dispatcher can manage and understand who is working where, etc. So for example, right now we see that we select Bob, And at the bottom line, you see the bottom section, we see that he has some field ticket for a particular location, and all those lines are clickable, so you can open the field ticket right from here. So to set up the field technician dispatch, first of all, you need to activate it in a configuration card. Let me know if you need our help with that. So the dispatch FT will be available if it's activated in configuration card. The second thing, we need to set up the visibility of the department in the field technician dashboard. So we need to click a particular check mark in the department section and change the more readable code for the particular department. Say for the Grand Prairie, we just put GPR and put this as a code which will be shown in the dashboard. And the last thing, we need to put the position for the user and the selected department for default department for the user. So, and after that, this user will be shown in this dashboard.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the payroll settings and rates. And there is more important that we're thinking of. But basically, as Michael already said, in the HR module, we have different levels of settings for the whole company or for a particular employee. And we can set the payroll rates for every employee in the company. And also we can set up the sales commission, which we'll be talking about a little bit later. And definitely we'll take a look at some reports connected to the payroll management. So one of the most important documents in the HR module is employee hiring document, where you can hire, like formally hire the person and enter his name, last name, and then enter his rates that he earns based on the line of businesses or departments or just general for the whole company. You also have an ability to set the date from which this employee will be included in the payroll reports and just post and close document. But if you'd like to enter all the employees that you currently have and not one by one, you also have this ability to make it in a master setup of the employee lists and employee rates. Let's take a look at the settings of the HR module. First of all, you start with the general settings. Here you'll be able to set up the general rate for the whole company for all employees and also select to which department or line of business you give the priority of calculating the rates. You can also use per diem in the delivery tickets or field tickets and set the amount of standard per diem for each employee. You can also use bonuses. Now, when you select the priority, you go to the settings for line of businesses. Say if you have 2 line of businesses, you can set the standard payroll rate for each line of business that will be applied to each employee working for this line of business. Also, you can go deeper and set up the payroll rates for the combination of line of business and department. So if your employees working for the different departments for different LOBs, that can be set up here as well, and it will be applied again for all employees of the company. The next level of settings is the payroll rates, where you can create a new document, specify the employees to which these payroll rates will be applied, and enter the rates for them. You have 3 options to select: general rates for employees, regardless of the line of business or department. Next option is to select the particular line of business and set the rates for this line of business for those employees. And the full option when you can build a matrix and fill in the rates for combination of line of business and departments as well. So here's an example how you can set the full matrix. So you select particular employees, enter the rates which they earn on the general basis. Then you can set the line of business rates for the same employee, or you can prioritize departments and select for which department and line of business this employee earns how much. So the system will understand what the priority apply in every case, in every document, and it will select if the department and LOB is pre-filled in, then it will apply this rate. But if only LOB is pre-selected, then it will apply only to LOB. So after you did the general settings and settings for particular employees, you can start using the payroll report. So the payroll report will take information from every single document. In this case, it's field tickets, but it can also be the delivery tickets where the person has been assigned to, and it will extract information, the working hours, billable and payable hours, and it will also calculate automatically overtime hours based on the settings, and it will apply the related rate based on the settings that you set for this employee, multiplied by the rate and billable hours, and calculate the total payroll amount for the person for a particular period of time. This report can also be presented in the flat view where you don't have any groups and subtotals. So you can upload this report, first save it to Excel, and then upload to your payroll system in order to calculate taxes. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about the time tracking in RigER, how we can input the time into the documents, and Arsen will cover this topic.
Yes, thank you, Gleb, and happy birthday again. You are a great friend, great professional, and I wish you best of luck in all your beginnings.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Now that we've got covered the most important parts of the HR module, let's talk a bit about time tracking, which in itself is another essential part of the HR module. Now, in RigER system, we have several documents that allow you to input employee hours inside them. And on your screen right now, you can see two types of tickets, the delivery tickets and the field tickets, that both have a tab that will allow you to input employee hours into them. The tab is called Crew tab, and in the Crew tab, you can add every single field technician or employee that you want to input the hours for. And you can input their billable hours, payable hours, overtime hours, the per diem, and the bonus. So let's move on to the next slide and talk about the repair tickets. The repair tickets also has a Crew tab, but it's a bit different. As you can see, you also have the ability to input the start and end times and dates for a particular job. And again, you can add your field technicians and employees to the system to add their hours to have them represented in further analytics. Now, let's talk about the time tracking in the internal job ticket. Now, internal job ticket itself does not have tabs, and overall information is available right when you open the ticket itself. So you can input the field technician or the employee again, the type of the job that is performed by that particular employee, the notes that you need to have, and again, the start and end times and dates, and their billable, payable, overtime, and other hours. So those are four types of tickets that we have in the system that you can have the times input into. And when you input your times, you obviously need some reporting mechanisms to have all of that information represented to you in a, let's say, easier manner. One of those reports is the employee hours reports, a report, and as Gleb already has mentioned it, it has a lot of information in it, starting from the employee name and the department and all the documents that have been assigned or created for that particular employee during the job that he has performed. We also have the line of business. We have their hours represented in the report. We also have their hourly rates for that particular line of business or department. And at the end, you can see that we have the payroll column, which will automatically be calculated based upon the hours that the particular employee has worked and his rate. And now let's move on to the next slide and talk about the labor cost analysis. This report obviously will allow you to have a better idea on how much your company spends on labor and have information represented to you so that you can better analyze where to cut costs or where to do some more improvements. So this report is grouped by the employee and the week. You have the weekly information for that employee. You have the line of business, the department, the documents that created the for the job, and obviously the hours for the particular employee. You also will be seeing the rates for that particular employee in their department or line of business, as Gleb has described when he was showing the settings of the HR module. And the end, we will have the payroll automatically again calculated for you. So I guess this is pretty much everything for the analytics parts and the time tracking.
Thank you very much, Arsen. And we'll come to the Q&A section of our webinars. I see one question that came is from David. And the question is how we can use the information extracted from RigER in other systems. So how the payroll reports or some other information can be exported to our other systems.
Yeah, let me take that. So definitely the data which we have already in RigER about hours and rates, definitely it was designed for the payroll systems. And we have universal export to Excel for now. We work with three projects right now with different clients with different payroll applications. So I expect that it will be the expert integration with the payroll. The software like ADP or any other which are running the payroll calculations. We will do that expert extract data from RigER to those systems.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Another question is from Patrick. So Patrick is asking how our employees can input their own time in RigER.
Okay, let me take this one. Most of you, I think, know that we do have mobile applications, and our mobile applications' main intent is to provide your employees or your field technicians or people who are not able to use the cloud system means to communicate with the database in a timely manner. So let's say your field technician has the mobile app installed on his cell phone. He just opens the ticket, whichever one that applies to him. Either it can be a delivery ticket or a repair ticket or whatever. He just opened that ticket. He just inputs his hours into it, and he can see all the. He can, in that manner, he can see all the hours that he has worked on, like that ticket or that particular job.
Yes, so the skills and qualifications, again, it's not new. It was developing for RigER 6.0. However, we realized that it's easy for us to add those and combine all the information about personnel to the HR module. I still have, yeah, good. So, and the employee skills, you can enter any qualifications, any skills which you think it's worth to track. Say, for example, safety certification or any tickets, safety tickets, skills, qualifications. Sometimes we have clients, they track the green personnel, so the guys who has less than 1 year experience in the company. So they have some anniversary celebrations or watch them more carefully about how they perform and how they do all that kind of operations. Another application could be with our one of our clients. They do different requirements for different states. And they need to know what kind of employee able to provide a particular job or particular work in the particular state. So that gives you the entire picture about who can do what and every single moment. And again, there's qualification available on the dispatch, the field technician dispatch dashboard, so you can filter when you receive kind of a specific requirement from the client, you can filter a particular qualification and see who is available in the particular area. So so here as a main document, you can import data from Excel, and one of the application which widely used by our clients is to understand the expire date and what needs to be updated and when. So you can set up the expire date notification automatic report, which will be in your email generated as a PDF file every, say, for example, first day in a month. So you know who needs to be recertified or who needs to be updated or promoted or something like that. And of course, you can see all the qualifications and skill list, which will show you the entire list of all the qualifications and users. You can filter them by user, by qualification, by authority issued any particular certificate or ticket. So this is totally up to you how you'd like to track them.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Now we've come to the interesting part of our HR module, and that's a powerful feature that allows to set and calculate the sales commissions automatically based on these settings. So let me explain that a little bit. So basically, we have a pretty much the same setup process as we've seen we've seen about the employee rates, payroll rates. So the system allows us to set the sales commission rates for different levels of structure of the database. So customers, departments, line of businesses, etc. It can be set for particular employees or basically for the whole company. Okay, let's take a look at the sales commission rate settings. In RigER, you can set the sales commission rate for each employee or salesperson for particular customer, division, department, or line of business. The highest priority is given to the customers, then to departments, and then line of business. That means if the salesperson receives a commission for all of these options, customers, departments, and line of business, the system will analyze and calculate the commission rate amount based on the priority. After you've set the sales commission rates in the settings, you can generate a sales commission report. The sales commission report takes information from the invoices generated in RigER and marked as paid for the particular period of time. As you can see, the sales commission report calculates the total amount of the commission based on the priority that we've set previously. You can filter this report by different parameters as client, RSA number, rental invoice, or department and line of business. Also can be applied to a particular employee. You can also generate a flat view of this report and use this information to export into Excel and then upload to your accounting system. Okay, Michael, let's talk a little bit about the setup and implementation of the HR module. So please tell people how they can get it.
Yeah, it's probably the most important and interesting part of all that presentation. So the HR module is not a mandatory module. It's an optional module. And you can add it to RigER easily by your choice, whatever you're ready. Definitely, it could be a custom settings. We show you that today the very, very wide and very complex system where you can see probably like very extensive line of businesses, departments, divisions, and in some cases you can ask the question what is the difference between division and department. So and to answer that. The department is our internal structure. The division is a external structure of the client. So every single client can have several divisions. Say, for example, completion, drilling. It could be two different departments within one divisions within one client, and we will track them separately. Particular case, particular your situation could be a very simple or very straightforward. Say you do not have any line of businesses, you have only straight 2 or 3 departments, and the rate is flat, and you do not need to have that kind of differentiation between departments or line of businesses. So in this case, we do settings. We exclude those line of business and departments from the complexity, and you have like a flat rate for the entire company for that particular employee. So definitely we sit down with a particular and see the particular situation and build this as an implementation or consulting project. The good thing about HR that this is the first step for the operating cost module connection. So which gives you the entire picture, the big picture about your operations and your operation profitability for every single line of business, department, division, if you like. And if we talk about module setup, it will be the implementation fee, and it will be monthly fee because this treated as a separate module. Pretty much the same thing which we do with the sub rentals, because not everyone has sub rentals. Not everyone will track payroll in RigER. We understand that. And the future development of this module, we already have a great feedback from existing clients who tried this, and they already ask lots of different features, and we listening, collect their information, and definitely it will be a future development of this module. So yeah, and if you like to add HR module, let us know. We will schedule the meeting, and we'll schedule a particular step-by-step process, because it should be some preparations from our side and should be some preparations from your side to move to this. Again, most of the clients already track hours in RigER, so it's very natural to add rates, and after that generate reports for the payroll, and it's easy to calculate everything and easy to control everything in one system.
Again, thank you very much for today attention, and let's talk next week.
Yeah, next week we will talk about how to implement RigER, and we face it with some situation when we need to re-implement RigER with the existing client or add modules like HR modules to the existing clients. So we will show you what is our methodology, how our methodology looks like, and how we do that stuff, even for our existing clients. But and we will explain what we do with the new clients as well.
Okay, thank you, and have a great day. We will see you next week.
Yeah, thank you so much, and yeah, we'll see you next time.
Bye.